Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Can everyone hear me? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Just want to thank every single one of you for being here. My name is Wali Abdul Hanifzai, and I work for an organization called Access California Services. And today, we're going to discuss a topic that is gearing towards the impact of social media on an individual's well-being. So to start off, I usually ask everyone, how many people here have social media? Currently, how many people use social media? A good amount? How about you guys right there? You guys use social media or no? You don't know what that is? Facebook? Then now, Instagram? Just Facebook? Anything else? Snapchat? Snapchat, okay. Okay, then you're in the right place. So as we know, we're all connected 24/7, all around the world, no matter where we are, with family members, co-workers. We've got classmates, idols that we follow. It can be soccer player, football player, basketball players. We've got mentors, neighbors, and even strangers at times. And I just want to ask everyone here, what are the benefits of social media? Can anybody just throw it out and tell me what are the benefits of using social media? What is it? It spreads, yeah. You're able to communicate and you're able to spread the word a lot quicker to the communities, to different states, different countries. What else? What else do we see usually? Yes, that's right. What is it? You connect with other people. Yes, you do. What do? We use specifically mainly social media in order to reach our families, our friends back home, either they're in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and that's what we usually do. Social media is also a great influencer in terms of, when it comes to fundraising. I know we have events that come up. There's an event coming up here as well on the 28th, if I'm not mistaken. And it's all over social media. And that's because of, the power of social media and how we can use them. Also with social media, the importance of learning from one another is also good. A lot of times, there's statistics that shows that there's 75% of the times, close to 80% of the times, we get our news via social media. And that's good. It's right there. You click on it, and you have news shared with you in your own languages. It'd be English, Arabic, Farsi, Pashto. It helps you connect with different people, different professionals around the world, around the state, and different schools as well. Even if anybody is a home take mother, just for the sisters here, how many of you guys use social media when it comes to like cooking or when you guys want to learn something, right? Cooking, lectures, we use it for lectures, we use it for cooking. What else do we use it for? Anything else? It's fine, you don't have to share it if you don't want to. So to get into social media and really talk about the effects of it, before that I just want to talk about the pros and then we can talk about the cons of social media. As some of you had stated, social media spreads information faster than any other media. I don't know if you guys knew this, but law enforcement uses social media in a way to get criminals as well. It helps them catch criminals that are out there. When they're on social media, they post, they chat with others, and that's one of the benefits that works for the government is that they're spying on you, which is not a good thing either because it's kind of a scary thing too, because it kind of tells us when you're using social media, not just law enforcement, but other people also use social media that are also spying on you, and that can be people in the community, people that that are stalking you, and it can become a very scary thing. And then also social media, it helps find work employment services. I don't know, nowadays, a lot of us, what we do is we usually reach out and we use the computer in order to find jobs. Nobody's taking resumes now. You're not going to go into a store or a company and you're going to say, you know what, I want to fill out a resume. It doesn't work that way. You have to do it through computer. And it also, social media, as we know, has changed big time in the political world. A lot of people are using social media to really facilitate, political changes as well. Majority of the changes do come through social media because that's the best and the fastest way to reach out to different communities. Now I want to talk about some cons of what social media can also affect and have upon us. But before I do that, what are some of the other positive things that you guys think that social media really helps us with? Do you guys know? Do you guys have anything else with social media? What it really helps us with? What is it? Email? Good. Email. You're able to communicate through email. Yeah. You're going to say something, brother? What is it? Online shopping, yes. You do online shopping too. Huh? Thank you. Wasting time. You waste time. Social media, you actually waste time. What else? Amazon, yes, you get to buy things on Amazon. Updating news, you're able to read the news and you're able to catch up with what's happening in the world, because a lot of times, majority of us really don't read anymore, or a lot of us don't take the time to sit down and get newspapers or sit on behind the computer. When we do, we don't actually go into, let's say, New York Times or LA Times to read our news. We actually go through social media, where specifically like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, they've created a filter where they're showing news all the time, consistently. So now let's switch to cons. What are some of the cons of using social media? Yes, sir. Procrastination. And why does that happen? You lose track of your own time. Just so you guys know, 10 to 11% of Americans are addicted to social media. That's really, a person being, that's on crack and cocaine. That's what it's saying. There's 10 to 11% of Americans. And you said, yes, it's procrastination. Also in that, a lot of times when a lot of the children are affected, and a lot of adults are affected too, because it breaks our concentration when we're at work. It affects us negatively, because a lot of times what ends up happening is that when we are using social media, we're so used to using it all the time, our concentration is never focused at work, at school. You're constantly looking at your snaps, your Facebook, and day to day you're just constantly looking at your snaps and your Facebook to see if you've got any likes, if you didn't get likes. What else? What are some of the other cons that we're seeing? Yes. News? So what kind of news though?
Like YouTube videos, when you make like
YouTube things? Videos. So as long as you're making good videos, it's okay. But if you're watching something that's inappropriate, something that's, nudity is there, if you're looking at something that's not for you or age appropriate, then that's something that's not good to watch. But if you're learning something through social media, if you're gaining something from social media, then it's good to use. Social media, like I said, one of the cons, I mean, it's something that is bad. So it has lack of privacy. So a lot of you might think, social media is safe. Learn the fact, to be true with you all, it's not really safe. All your information is out in the public. People can see. People will find ways to see. People will find ways to blackmail you. People will find ways to take your photo, your family's photo, your husband's photo, your wife's photo, and then create another account to destroy families too. So you always have to remember that as well. Also, this is something for the kids and for the students. Research shows that students who are heavily social media users tend to have lower grades. They averaged it out, and they said the average GPA for a person who is a user, they get roughly about a 3.0. Versus somebody who's a non-user, their average is 3.82. So that's a big jump. That's a really big jump. And other things, social media can attract people to waste time, like one of the brothers said. And that's actually 36% of people have stated that it's the biggest waste of time when it comes to using social media, is that you're wasting time, you're not learning anything, you're basically just scrolling down because you have nothing to do. And guess what? You're also addicted to it, so you have to remember that. Other causes of cons are using social media can harm job stability and employment perspectives as well. And what do I mean by that? That means that, you know, if you're on social media all the time, you have a way of texting or writing things. Your grammar will not help you, or the way you write in a professional setting will not help you. It will not help you in school, because instead of putting "be right back," there's times where I've seen it on papers that they've made it a lot shorter. What is it? BRB. So people are actually shortening it up when it comes to even professionalism. When you're texting somebody who's a professional, even at times they even forget that, you know, we have to use proper letters and not to shorten it up. Social media causes people to spend less time interacting face to face. And what usually happens if I want to ask every single one of you, when you have lack of interaction with one another, what ends up happening to us? Does anybody know? No? We fall into social isolation. And it's because with social media, we get so busy, we spend about 80% of the time is spent on us. And what we did, it's, you know, what we're doing this morning, I woke up, I'm about to brush my teeth, where you went, what you ate, who you're hanging out with, what are you doing currently. 80% of the times, people that use social media, it goes on that. Versus when you have a face-to-face interaction, you're using 40% of the time talking about yourself, but learning about others. So with compared to social media, it's much more important that you go out and you talk to one another than use social media and waste time. So I just want to talk about some key indicators of awareness for every single one of you. It causes lower and decreased self-esteem during or after using social media. When you're using social media, it causes low self-esteem. Do you guys know why that is, or an anxiety? What is it? Come here guys. Why don't you guys sit in the front? I want to hear you. I can't hear you guys. Come on. Good job. Sit down. Sit right here. Or you want to come up? You forgot what you were going to say? Okay. So sit down and I'll ask the question again. So I said social media causes an anxiety, it lowers your self-esteem, and it causes depressive symptoms as well. So why is that? You're playing video games? You get an anxiety? Why do you get an anxiety when you play games though? Shouldn't that be a good thing? In self-esteem, because when you post things and people are not, you know, people dislike your photo or dislike the things that you're doing, it causes a lot of issues. I don't know if you guys know, but social media has become so addictive that we constantly focus on the likes, how many likes we're gonna get today. When we post something, who over here actually checks their social media and says, you know what, I'm gonna go and see how many people actually viewed it or liked it? How many people does that? I do it. Nobody? It's a normal thing. Everybody should do it. They should see, you know, how many likes and how many dislikes you have, and it's normal. But then again, you know, that's what social media does. Is it gets you addicted, and what gets you more addicted is that whenever you check your phone and you see a like, it causes the brain to release dopamine, and when that does that, it makes you feel good. Same way, for instance, if you're in school and you get a good grade, what do you guys do when you guys take an A grade to your parents? What ends up happening? What does your parents do? They're happy, yeah. So what happens to you? What do you feel? Good, you feel proud, you feel good. How about you? Proud? Okay, very good. So you feel good. The same way with social media, no matter you're a child, you're a teen, you're an adolescent, adult, kids, elders, we all have that in us. We're wired. It's a reward system that's wired in us. So every time we get a like or anytime when somebody actually even says something that is positive, we get happy. That is how social media is. And a lot of us are actually starting to rely on social media because of that. Because of the fact that when we post something, we have to find out, or every couple of minutes what ends up happening is your phone doesn't even buzz, but guess what? You look at your phone just to see if anybody called or not, right? Does that happen to anybody or not? Yeah. So it's becoming, it's actually, social media has actually taken over our brain. And the fact that it's causing us distraction when it comes to school, when it comes to work. And what are we doing at home? When we're going home, are we putting away our phones? Are we turning them off, or are we still keeping them on? We're keeping them on, right? Which is never a good thing. Which is never a good thing. We should have time. We should have certain times where we're able to use our phones, and then when we get home, we should be able to put it away or at least turn it off. So you had a question? What is it? Yes. What do you think? Okay. So you said using social media or using social media, you can go blind. So you technically.
If you look at the screen for too long, you might get blind. When you go close.
Very close. Okay. So technically, you do not go blind when you use social media or when you watch TV, but your eye vision will decrease. And when that happens, when you have eye problems, so roughly 30 to 40% of the individuals in America are nearsighted, and that's because of social media and TV. And then what ends up happening is you start wearing this, what I have on. See, without this, I can't see anybody right now. I can't see anybody's faces. So, but you have to make time on how much social media, how much TV, and how much you should engage in the world and the community outside. If you think you may be addicted to social media, please take a moment and consider this. Do you feel your social media use has become compulsive, that you have to use it? How many people think that they have to use their social media? How many of you think it? Yes, sir. Huh? More than 40%? So you have to use your social media or your phone? There's a difference. Both of them? Okay. And why do you say it's 40%? Is it because you work, you promote things, or? Yeah. Okay, promoting. But are you also looking at other promotional things? Sometimes? But is motivate? Okay. Okay, thank you. It kills, especially for young people? Okay. And do you have any suggestions for any young people? There's no control on social media, but okay, thank you. So I'm gonna go over what can be done or what can we do as parents and as children. You know, how can we work together as a team? This is a team effort and work. It's not a one-sided thing where, you know, the parents, there's times where parents don't have time or they don't put the effort to check their kids' social media. They don't look to see what are they doing in social media. There's times where I've seen parents that actually do the opposite. They're more involved in social media and they don't give time to their kids. And it's true. And it's true, and it happens. And it's sad to say, but it happens. So other things, do you find it difficult not to engage in social media when you don't really want to? Does it get hard or not? Or do you ever become angry? Do you ever become agitated, negatively or emotionally, physically affected when you cut back on any of the social media platforms? Do you know, that causes us an anxiety, like I said. When you cut down, your body is going to react for the first couple of days or couple of hours when you cut down on social media. Because we're so used to it, and like I told you, your brain is so wired and that dopamine is there. So it's wired to look at your phone every other minute. Sometimes you might think, you know, it's your phone is buzzing, but guess what? It's not. Your leg's probably itching. That's what it is. So how can you curb social media's addiction? Here, now that you have committed to making a change, what you can do is reach out and log off. Has anybody tried logging off? Try to log off your phone and see how that works out. As a family though, you can do it as an individual, but try to do it as a family. Because a lot of times, a lot of families that come together, that come home, what they usually do is one person is on the phone, the other one's just sitting there watching TV. We don't get much time with our families, or we don't spend much time with our friends or anybody that's close to us, because we're so attached to social media. That's the first thing that we are always attached to, instead of actually making time for other human beings and other people. So please try to turn off the phones and see how that works out for you. Tune up your mind and body. You know, that, like I said, go away from it. And you have to give your body a couple of days to adjust. It's just a routine you have to go through. By turning off your phone, or what you can do is you can put it away. You can grab, for instance, you can go inside the house and you can tell your family that once you come from school, once you come from work, we're all gonna put the phones away and we're gonna put it somewhere where nobody can reach it till later the day or tomorrow. You can also set firm boundaries, set limits. Okay, you know what? Today I'm gonna use this many hours of social media. If your work revolves around social media, then you have to use social media. But if it doesn't, if you're there just for fun and wasting time, and you're not reading your book, if you're not going to the masjid, if you're not, it distracts you from prayers, if you're on your prayers and your mind's thinking of something that's much, totally different, oh, I can't wait till I go see or read somebody's Snapchat, something that I posted, I can't wait to do that. It messes up your whole day, and it just messes up the purpose of, your brain functioning with Allah and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So remember that, set firm boundaries when you're using social media. And also get support. A lot of times what I mean by that is that you're not alone. It's nothing that is too harmful, but at the same time, it keeps you socially isolated from the community, from your family, from your friends, and everybody that's around you. So remember, social media, it's good if you use it based on limits and limitations, but if you use it more or less, it will harm you, and it will harm you in the long term. Because then you'll lose your friends, you'll lose your family, because they won't spend time with you. What you'll end up doing is you'll lose your children if your parents that are constantly on your phone. And guess what? And then you're constantly using your phone and you don't give your children time when they're little. As they get older, they're not going to spend more time with you. They're going to get older so quickly where it would be right in front of your eyes, like you wouldn't even know. So when they do get older, guess what? They're not going to have time for you. Your kids are just not going to have time for you because they're going to be too busy with life responsibilities. So even as parents, please try your best to have limits set for social media and the usage of it. And then for our little ones, remember, it doesn't help when it comes time for school, for your exams, before you go to bed. It's always important that you guys turn off your social media, your iPads, your telephones, and grab a book to read. Because research has also shown that social media destroys your long-term memory. And it affects it too. Because first, whenever an individual reads or tries to remember something, for instance, for a test, if you're reading a book, what ends up happening is that stores in your short-term memory. And then with time, it transfers to your long-term memory. But if you're if you're somebody who's using social media constantly, and guess what, when you're reading something, every 2 minutes you grab your phone, every 2 minutes, and you're distracted. It's not going to help you. And that will hurt you, and it will hurt your brain as well. It's not healthy for the brain. We want to be able to build it. You want to be able to build it. So for that, you have to remember that you have to set limits and you have to do things that are according to good timing. And then same thing goes to people that, supporting others whom mental health is suffering due to social media. Some people, they just can't get out of it. And the best thing is to be there for them and give them some tools and techniques on how to really make boundaries and set boundaries so you can better help associate and affect those things for them. And then now, we want to talk about how to keep kids informed and aware and safe on social media. As parents and guardians, you can help to ensure your kids to stay safe and be able to show them that that social media deals by what can you do and what can be done. That's being able to discuss the risks and possible effects of social media with them. And what I mean by that is it's important to talk to your children about the risk factors of what and how social media affects the child, the brain, and how that can also affect them in the long term. And then be honest with your kid. When you are talking about social media, make sure you're not just doing it because it's your child and you can use the phone from this time to this time, or you can use social media because of this A, B, and C, but then you're doing the same thing. Make sure you guys are on the same page, because whatever you do, your child's gonna mimic you. They're gonna see and they're gonna do the same thing. So if you're not doing something which is not which something that that is not there. Oh, thank you so much. Sorry about that, my throat's. I was on a 2-hour drive. So if your child is, for instance, if they mimic you, they're not gonna follow your rules. And as parents too, you have to remember, it can't be just everything can't be on the mother. I know as fathers we're always working outside, we're doing things out of the home, and then usually the mothers are usually taking care of the kids. Sometimes it's vice versa. Sometimes the fathers take care of the kids more, or they have more, they take more responsibilities for the children. So remember that even as parents, both parties have to be on the same page. So a mother is telling the child, you can't use social media. I'm gonna put a lock on certain games, on certain things after this time. But then your husband is actually using social media, and your child looks at you and says, you know what, daddy's doing it. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna use social media. And that's what ends up happening, is because then they see another authority figure that's actually using social media, and then the child's just gonna follow that. Yes? It's a what? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an influence. So tell me more about it. So if your parents are doing it, why do you want to do it then? Why do you want to try it? Good. Did you guys hear him? Whoever's child is, I love this child. He said that, so he said, whatever our parents do, they tell us to do it like me. So, and we usually do that. Parents actually do tell their kids, to model them, as a role model. And your kids you guys are your child's role models, your grandkids' role models. So yeah, that's a good example. Whatever your parents tell you, when they say, do what I do, you start following that. Yeah, and you can't say no to it, so you have to follow it. Yes? Speak up a little bit louder, sorry. If you want to tell me, you can come up and tell me in my ear. So you follow your parents because they always do the right thing? Okay. How many people think that? How many parents are right and whatever you say, it goes? Good. Yeah. A lot of times parents, as parents, like I said, this is not a one-road thing. This is a two-road block where both parents and the child has to work together. It doesn't work one way. It's like being in a relationship. Like when you get old, for two parents, it doesn't work one way where the husband's putting all the effort and the wife's not, or the wife's putting all the effort and then the husband's not. It doesn't work out that way. Same thing with children. They understand. You guys understand, right? Whenever the parents say things, you guys are smart people. You guys have your own mind. You guys make great decisions. You have to acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge that, and we have to be on the same page, and we have to let them know when we do things, we have to do it as a family, and it's healthier, it's safer, and it works really well. Please try it. You know, please try it. Yes, you have to monitor them, but make sure that when you are monitoring them, you have to also be a role model to them by actually setting good examples. The other thing was having positive discussions as well. Always have positive discussions with your children, not to have negative discussions. I know social media is also a platform for a lot of people, especially for the sisters and the girls when it comes to image, body image. That's really something, you know, our social media has portrayed it, you know, in order to look pretty, in order to look good, you have to look a certain way. In reality, it's not real. It's not real. The people that do look a certain way use a lot of, put a lot of things that are very harmful to their bodies. They use a lot of makeup, and trust me when I say this, especially for the girls and for the females, we as human beings, when my wife puts on makeup, it's just one person putting on makeup for herself. When you see something on Snapchat or Instagram and they're famous, they've got a team of 6 people putting stuff on for them. One person working on their hair, one person working on their eye, one person working on their lips. So remember, you have to know this. It's an image that is not real. Yes? Okay.
My teacher says we can see like something like that on Snapchat that the person has like plastic surgery. They put on so much makeup.
Oh, they do.
That's a filter. They don't name it like that. It's just that some social media apps they just have this thing like you have
Which is good. So he said his teacher had told him that, you know, a lot of people they do plastic surgery. And it's true. A lot of people on social media do use plastic surgery to look good and to look young. They use, you know, a lot of makeup, as we stated, and they have filters that make them look a lot prettier or greater. So please be careful with that too. And then also, it's also important that you, as parents, can also go to schools. You guys can work, you know, with their schools, with the administrations, local, national organizations, communities as well, you know, to be able to monitor, you know, what your child or your children are doing. Because as parents, a lot of parents are actually afraid, you know, that live here in America. They're actually afraid that some of them are afraid of their children because of legal cases, you know. The child might call, you know, CPS, and they might make a report, and this happened with one family, this is gonna happen to my family, I have to be careful because of this. No, it doesn't work that way. It's not easy, is that. You are the parents, you have to take charge, and it's, you know, it doesn't work that way where you're actually gonna go in and you're gonna tell your parents, I'm gonna do this because of ABC, and you can't do anything about it. Well, just for those youngsters, if you guys hear anybody in the community that says, if your parents are being mean to you, or if your parents tell you what to do, you have the right not to do anything, they're not giving you good advice. You know, they're not giving you good advice. Just remember that. Always listen to your parents, listen to the people in the community. When you come to the masjid, please listen to your elders. It's always good and respectful, and you guys will learn a lot from them. And then lastly, like I said, tell them exactly what course of action to take and how to tell them. Be collective, be in a safe environment, and tell them as a group that social media and how much time we can use as a family on a daily basis, and what can we do to use them together. Do you guys have any questions? Questions? Yes. Address the the effects of social media. Phone. Yeah. So on average, the studies have showed that you have to give at least 2 to 3 hours prior to going to bed. not to use any form of social media or even your phone, having your phone by you. It's not helpful. And not just that, studies have shown that if you are using your phone, you don't go to your deepest sleep. Your brain doesn't really go into your deepest sleep that actually is your last stage of sleep. I believe I think it's the fourth stage, right? I'm not, it's the fourth stage. And when you don't go to your fourth stage of sleep, what ends up happening is, research has shown that it causes Alzheimer's. It causes Alzheimer's and dementia. So it disrupts with your brain. So remember, you have to be sleeping 7 to 8 hours on a daily basis, especially for those that are going to school. Be in bed by 9:30. You have to be in bed, and do not use any cell phones after 6, 7 o'clock. I would say cut it after 7. Don't use don't try not watching any TV, use any computers, iPads, cell phones. The best thing to do is to read. It's the easiest and the best thing to do for you guys is to grab a book and read, and it's really good for your brain and it's really healthy for your brain as well. Any other questions you guys have? Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes. So what you can do is, with parental rights, is that you have the right as parents to take away your child's phone, and you can always put locks. You can always lock certain things, certain apps, on a child's cell phone, on a child's app or applications that they're using in their cell phones. A lot of us have access to things that parents don't know about. There's certain things that I remember with my younger sibling, who's 13 now. She knows more than I do, and we had to put a lock on her phone. And that's because as parents, we don't know what's out there in the community. We don't know what's out in social media, and it's dangerous because it causes a lot of problems. And a lot of us are too busy. We don't give time to kids. Let alone kids, we don't give time to ourselves. On a daily basis, we get up. We're up by 5:30. We do our prayers. We take our showers. We go to work. Work starts at 7, 8. If you're working business hours, you're working till 5, 6. You come home. You have to see what's. When you come home, you have to see if there's any food in the fridge. You have to go do grocery shopping. You have to cook food. By the time you do that, one parent is cooking food. The other parents is probably sitting down and doing homework with their children, or helping them out at that part, or taking a look at any homework that they have. And then once that's taken care of, that's done, what ends up happening is a lot of parents that do majority of the time is that they watch TV. They're always watching TV instead of being more involved with kids and families. And like I said, for parents, it's important that you guys take into consideration your children's phones and cell phones. And please put a lock on certain games or apps. After a certain time, you can go in and you can unlock it from them. Because if they continuously use the same app or use social media, it causes addiction, and it causes them to have low self-esteem, because then they picture something that's really unrealistic. They have a picture of something that's really unrealistic, and tomorrow they'll post things on social media trying to be like somebody else that they're not. Or even as adults, we try to be like somebody that we're not, and we always have that image of this person is so successful, he's doing this, he's doing that. Well, guess what? Your talent is probably somewhere else, not at social media. So you have to weigh the balance, the right balance. Yes? Huh? What's low self-esteem? Can somebody help us out? What's low self-esteem, guys? Does anybody know? How you think about yourself? Okay, in what way? Yes, good, very good. Yeah, how much confidence you have in yourself. So if you're using social media, whoever's child is, I love this guy. Smart kid, mashallah. So yes, how much confidence do you have in yourself? What social media does is that when you're using social media, you're always looking for likes, dislikes, mainly likes. How many people are going to like my photos, how many people are going to make say good comments, how many viewers am I going to get. But if you're getting the opposite, if somebody's making fun of you, if somebody's calling you names, if somebody's saying, you know what, somebody's giving, not liking your pictures, what ends up happening is you compare yourself to other people as well. And when you do that, you start having low self-esteem. And that causes you to have less confidence, and it keeps you away from people as well, because you have never spoken to anybody outside of social media, and it becomes very difficult when it comes speaking to somebody else in the community. Any other questions, guys? Yes?
What's your opinion on Fortnite?
What is it?
What is your opinion on Fortnite?
Fortnite? Oh, I don't know what game that is. You have to tell me. It's a bad game? It's a so my question here, is it, if it's a bad game, how bad? Are we talking about, is it bad that it's just graphic, like blood, or is it bad because there's nudity? And then what is it? I don't know the game, that's the thing. Do you know what I play? I'll tell you, I play video games too. I have a PS4 and I play sport games all the time. Does any parents know about this game? Anybody? Anybody know about this game? Just you guys? Okay, how about this? How about every single one of you that are here maybe teach your parents about the game, or talk to them about the game and what that is, and see what their opinion is. And if they think it's bad, then it's bad. If they don't think it's bad, then it's not bad. Yes, sister. Yes, thank you. Same thing when it comes to low self-esteem and people having depressive symptoms. One of the other factors that we usually forget is the fact that people in school, outside of school, are actually cyberbullied too. When it comes to social media, you know, there's a lot of hate messages being sent, threatening messages being sent to kids, students, even as much as, you know, you're ugly, you're fat, and it causes a lot of issues for that child. And, you know, for that child, it becomes difficult because it causes them to have low self-esteem. They're not going out to the community. They won't go out and hang out with more kids. Bless you. They won't go out and socialize in groups. They won't come to like family gatherings unless they're told to come. So it becomes very difficult for children who actually do face cyberbullying. So if you are actually getting text messages or messages from people that actually say, you know, or even it can be your friend or somebody that you don't know and is telling you, like, you know, you're ugly, you're this, and it's something that you don't like, block him, please. Block him and move away from him. And that's, and tell your parents. Always tell your parents, please. Any other questions? Social media? Yes?
So you're kind of avoiding what I asked, but what was your opinion?
What is my opinion? I don't know the game.
You got a laptop.
Huh?
You got a laptop in front of you.
I don't have Wi-Fi.
You got a phone?
It takes, I have to play the game too then. Huh? Okay, how about this? How about I watch it and I come again, Sunaveen, and I'll address the same topic about video games. And then we'll go through every single one of your phones and see what games to play and what games not to play. How about that?
But my question is, when you think about
it, if it's something that's not causing you, if it's not causing you any difficulties, for instance, if you're not using it 24/7, if you're not getting bad grades in school, if you're always at home and you're not going out and playing with your friends, and if it's something that you know that you're doing all day long and playing that game more than at least 30 minutes a day, well, guess what? I think I would say it's not a good game then. Yes. Let me take this question. Let me take this. Uh-huh. FaceTiming is okay. You can FaceTime people. What I'm saying is that when you use social media and you don't FaceTime people, or if it's because you're posting things on social media, when you post things on social media, you're really not talking to anybody. You're just getting likes and you're waiting for people to like your picture or like what you have posted it. But when you're talking to somebody face to face, that's okay. That's okay to use. But I would rather have you not focus too much on posting things on social media, because then your brain gets triggered, and like I said, dopamine, you're waiting for that like, for that one click or for that one like from somebody else, from a friend, that will release the dopamine, which makes you feel good. When somebody likes your post, you're gonna feel good, and you want more people to start liking your posts. So as long as you're not doing a lot of posting and you're not focused on posting, you can post, but just stay away from it. Stay away from the fact that, every 2 seconds somebody likes your picture and you have to see who's liking your picture. But go ahead, you can FaceTime somebody during the Skype. Yeah. Is it a serious question, or you get the same question?
It's a serious question.
Okay.
Since you dodged my last question, what is your opinions on YouTube now?
Opinion on YouTube? It's fine. You can use YouTube. How many hours do you use YouTube for? Huh? I use YouTube when I need to, for instance, I have to come out, and when I do any lectures, or when I have to talk, or when I give any videos, or have to show somebody videos, it's educational videos, then I use YouTube for it. And it's good to do a lot of Islamic studies. For those that have a hard time understanding, reading books, YouTube is a good way to actually follow sheikhs, lecturers, mentors, and learn from them. And yeah, as long as you're using it that way, it's really good. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Yeah. I'm sorry. The age limit?
Yeah, like when you mentioned that you start to use the social media. Like I have a 14-year-old.
Uh-huh.
So far she doesn't have any social media.
Good for you. Good for
I just want to know, like, am I denying her, like,
No.
as a parent? As a parent, I feel like I'm doing the right thing.
How is she how is she socially with people?
She's good. I mean, she has a complaint.
Is she how is she? When you guys are at home, she's sorry?
She's the same to me.
Well, that's.
As a family, none of us has social.
And do you guys spend more time with yourself, or when you guys, if you guys don't have social media, that means that your daughter is not using, she's not on social media while she's with you. She's talking to you, or you guys are doing something that's interactive.
Always doing everything as a family.
That's beautiful.
So I was just like, I'm just, peer pressure.
Yeah.
So I'm like kind of worried that I'm denying her. Like maybe 16, I can learn about.
Tell their 18 that you're the parents, you're the boss. You get to choose what you want to do. As parents, tell your kids 18, you get to tell them you're the boss of the house, not your children. So remember that. Like I said earlier, a lot of us are very scared of children and say, you know what, my child's gonna, what things that they learn outside from their friends, they bring it home and they use it upon you. And you get scared. You're like, oh, this person got in trouble, they're in court. It doesn't work like that. Don't be afraid. Your child is there. They can say what they want, and you let them say what they want. It's not going to affect anybody in any way. So you're the boss, not your children. Yeah. Alrighty, so yes. So I'll take the last question, yes. Yeah. So, you know what, I've heard, I haven't had research on that, but I know a lot of people are affected by that. It's actually not a good thing, especially the video gamers. They go through a lot of stress. I have to get back to you on that, but I know it's really bad. I was actually talking to somebody about this too. Would you work, if you were to have a choice, would you be a gamer, or would you work at, at the workplaces where you want to work at? And a lot of people, they're gamers, yeah, and it's not good for your health. Oh no, it's not good for your health at all, not at all. Not at all. So are we good then? Just want to thank every single one of you for, for being here, for taking the time. I know it's a Friday night. I know a lot of you must want to do other things. I know for the kids, you guys probably don't want to come. I know for the parents, thank you for putting the time and the effort. And for the little ones, you guys that want to be here, good job. And it's really good. You guys should continue to come. And then to say we are having, even at Access California Services, we have a table outside. If you guys want any resources, please stop by. We provide ESL classes, citizenship classes, immigration services. I oversee the mental health department, so we provide parenting, counseling, and then to finish off, we're having a mental health conference coming up on April 29th of this month. So if you're interested, it's a family event. It's the same way. We're providing childcare. Food is covered, and our speakers are going to be Sheikh Yasser Fazaka. It's going to be Dr. Marwa Azab and Dr. Anis Nader. She's coming from Arizona. So if you guys want informational, if you guys want to go to our informational event, please join us. And it'll be really good for the families, and it'll teach you how to also enhance your parenting skills as well. So that's it about it for tonight. So if you guys have questions, please ask me privately. Yeah, assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Love the other.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول